Coming of the Kingdom Part 10 Session 17 天国的来临第10部分第17讲 Page 484第484页。刚才我们说过，耶稣讲到将来的事有3个阶段。第一个阶段是大灾难的开始 The beginning of sorrows. In this first part, 在这个第一个部分 The chief emphasis lies on the warning to disciples not to let themselves be led astray. 耶稣主要强调的是向门徒们警告，不要受迷惑了。They must not think too soon that the end has come. 他们不要太快的认为末日已经来到 or even that it is immediately at hand. 甚至不是在眼前的事。Refer to Luke 21:9 参考路加福音21章第9节 Be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by. 路加福音第21章第9节不要惊慌，因为这些事必须先有，只是末期不能立时就到。It is true that many will proclaim themselves to be the Christ. 不错，会有不少人自称是基督。This no doubt refers to the action of the pretenders to the messiahship among the Jewish nation. 毫无疑问的，这里所指的就是在犹太人中间，有些人妄称自己是弥赛亚。Josephus 约瑟夫 mentions quite a series of messiahs that came to the fore shortly before and after Jesus. 提到在耶稣的时间之前和之后呢，有一系列的所谓弥赛亚出来的。And the Jewish revolt of AD 70. 然后主后70年的犹太人的起义 seems to have been strongly influenced by the expectation that the parousia of the Messiah was at hand. 好像深深的受到这种的期望的影响，就是说呢，弥赛亚的来临呢，很快就到了。In the Jewish revolt of 132 to 135, 在主后132到135年的犹太人的起义 Bar Kokhba B-A-R-C-O-C-H-B-A 这个领袖 claimed to be the Messiah 自称自己是弥赛亚的。The same warning that we find in an altered form in Luke 17:23 is repeated further on in the speech. 在路加福音17章23节那里与马可福音13章有一点的修改过同一个警告呢，在马可福音13章下文呢也重复的。好，我们来看路加福音第17章23节。人将要对你说，看在那里，看在这里，你们不要出去，也不要跟随他们。在马可福音13章重复的是马可福音13章21到23节。那时若有人对你们说，看基督在这里，或说基督在那里，你们不要信，因为假基督假先知将要起来显神迹奇事，倘若能行，就把选民迷惑了。你们要谨慎，看凡事我都预先告诉你们了。Also Matthew 24:23 to 26. 另外是马太福音第24章第23到第26节。那时若有人对你们说，基督在这里，或说基督在那里，你们不要信，因为假基督假先知将要起来显大神迹大奇事，倘若能行，连选民也都迷惑了。看我预先告诉你们了。若有人对你们说，看基督在旷野里，你们不要出去，或说看基督在内屋中，你们不要信。It shows how dangerous this false expectation was in the eyes of Jesus. 这些经文明显的指出，在耶稣的眼里，这些假的期待是那么的危险。In his days, the minds of the people were filled with such ideas. 在耶稣在世的日子呢，人民的 脑袋里充满着这种的概念。He counteracts the power of this temptation by the demand for caution. 耶稣呢，要门徒们抵挡这种的试探的能力。耶稣要求他们要谨慎。When they hear of war or rumor of war, 当他们听到打仗或者打仗的风声谣言 and of the rise of one nation against another, 或者听到一个国要兴起要打另外一个国 and of great earthquakes and famines, pestilences in various places occurring at this time, 或者听到这段时期有大的地震、饥荒、瘟疫等等 terrifying things and great signs from heaven, 令人惊惶的事，从天上来的大的迹象 they must not be disconcerted, 他们必须抵挡不安的这个诱惑。For these things must happen, 因为这些事情是必须会发生的。But they do not yet mean the end. 可是这些事并不意味着世界末日 nor do they prove that the end will be within a short time. Luke, 这些事情也不证明末日就很快就到了。特别路加福音 They are the beginning of sorrows. 这些只不过是大忧伤、大灾难的起头而已。And to this Jesus adds the prophecy about the persecution the disciples will have to endure at the hands of men. 在这里耶稣也加上一些的预言，讲到门徒们必定要忍受在人手中的逼迫， the absolute lack of love that will be even within the most intimate relationships, 还有在一些最亲密的家人等等的关系里面，人就绝对失去了爱心。Many who at first seem to be friends and believers will become traitors and enemies. 有些人起头好像是朋友们、信徒们，后来发觉是叛徒、是敌人的。In this context, 在这个的大环境里，这个上下文里面 Mark speaks of the preaching of the gospel to all nations, which is to take place first. 马可就说到，先要发生的事就是福音要传给万国万民。Some authors considered it beyond dispute. 有些学者们认为一件事情是肯定的，不必辩论的，就是说 that these words cannot be ascribed to a tradition that goes back to Jesus himself. 这些话不可能是从一个传统，从耶稣自己传下来的传统而来的，就是不可能是耶稣讲的。This view is partially based upon the factual objection that Jesus himself did not think of preaching the gospel to the Gentiles. 这个观点呢，其中一个根据就是从事实上来提出的反对的理由，反对是耶稣讲的。这个理由就是耶稣自己没有想到要把福音传给外邦人的。To this is added the formal argument. 另外再加上一个形式上的一个的论点 that regards the saying of Mark 13:10 as falling outside of the contents proper. 认为呢，马可福音第13章第10节所讲的是在整个马可福音13的内容的范围以外 and having been inserted into it as it were between brackets, 就好像呢是一个括弧这样子被插进来的。Comparison between the synoptics actually shows. 可是当我们研究马太、马可、路加符类福音的时候呢，事实上所显明的是 within them, the composition of this speech displays rather considerable variations. 耶稣这段的讲话在三福音里的结构呢，显出有不少的分歧，不少的不同 so that we should not ignore the influence of the evangelist on the structure of the whole. 所以我们不可以忽略到写福音书的作者们呢，对整段的记载的架构是有所影响的。This also holds for Mark 13:10. 对马可福音13章第10节也是如此的 which appears clearly from the fact that the same pronouncement occurs in Matthew in a somewhat different context. 很明显的，因为同一个的宣告在马太福音也出现，不过它的上下文不太一样。And yet this saying is not a corpus alienum within an entirely different complex of thought。可是呢，耶稣讲这句话呢，并不是一个外来的一个整体，在一个完全不同的一个思想架构而来的概念 ，but it's quite in accordance with this general tendency。事实上呢，是非常符合这些话的一般性的思路。For Jesus foretells to his disciples， 因为耶稣预先告诉他的门徒们 that they will have to suffer affliction， 告诉他们必须会受苦难 ，be delivered up to councils， 会被送到公会去 ，be beaten in the synagogues， 在会堂里要受打 ，be brought before rulers and kings， 要被送到诸侯跟君王的面前的。Even if it were thought that all these things would happen within the Jewish community or the Jewish country， 就算我们认为这一切的事情呢，只是在犹太人的群体或者犹太国里面发生 ，notwithstanding the mention of the Gentiles to whom the disciples must be witnesses for Christ， 可是呢，那么怎么去看耶稣提到外邦人？门徒们必须在外邦人中为基督做见证。Matthew 10:18， 马太福音第10章第18节，并且你们要为我的缘故被送到诸侯君王面前，对他们和外邦人做见证。The great presupposition must then be anyway that they will have to go through this as ministers of the gospel。那岂不应该这样？有一个前提就是，门徒们必须要经过这些的苦难呢，是身为传福音的仆人经历这些的审讯等等。In Matthew 24:9， 在马太福音24章第9节 ，it says that they will be hated of all nations。那里说他们会受到万民的憎恶。Matthew 24:9， 马太福音第24章第9节，那时人要把你们陷在患难里，也要杀害你们，你们又要为我的名被万民恨恶。And both Matthew 24:31 and Mark 13:27 speak of the gathering together of the elect from the four winds and from the uttermost part of the earth to the uttermost part of heaven。 马太24章31节和马可13章27节讲同一件事情。我们读马太福音24章第31节，他要差遣使者，用号筒的大声，将他的选民从四方，方原文说风，从天这边到天那边都召集了来。It is consequently impossible to maintain that in Matthew or Mark, in view of the meaning of Mark 13:27 and Matthew 24:31, which will be discussed presently in more detail, the prediction of the mission among the Gentiles is a foreign element in the context of the synoptic apocalypse。 因此呢，我们不可能接受一些学者们所坚持的，他们坚持的就是说，在马太和马可福音里呢，耶稣预告在外邦人中间传福音的使命呢，在三福音、福类福音的末世论的框架里面看是外来的因素，不可能这样认为的。特别是因为马可福音13章27节和马太福音24章31节的意义，这些我们在下文会更继续的仔细的讨论。就是不可能说这个是外加的一个外来的因素。There is hence no difficulty whatever in applying to this passage the conclusion of the announcement of the sorrows, namely, that the disciples will experience the help of God, and that they will be saved if they persevere and bear all that they will have to endure for Jesus' sake. 因此呢，我们毫无困难来把这段经文呢，来做这样的一个结论，就是这段经文是讲到大灾难的开始的结论，就是门徒们会经历到上帝帮助他们，他们若坚忍忍受这一切呢，就是说为耶稣的缘故遭受忍受这些呢，他们是必然得救的。路加福音21章第18节 Luke 21 verse 18。然而你们连一根头发也不损坏，你们常存忍耐，就必保全灵魂，或者必得生命。Although the chronological connection between the events, wars, etc. mentioned first and the vicissitudes of the disciples is not quite clear. 虽然呢，这些不同的事件就是征战、战争等等是先提到的，然后门徒们所遭受的变迁，这些的先后的关联不是很明显。Both series of events may be regarded as partially overlapping. 这两个系列的事件可以说是重叠的。Mark mentions them one after another without indicating the time. 马可一样的提到，没有提到是指什么时候。Matthew has the word then, verse 9, tote. 马太福音有然后第9节，在那个时候 at that time. Luke, however, says that the persecution would take place before all these things. 而路加福音是这样说的，说逼迫呢是在这些事情发生之前，在这一切的事情之前。That is before the rise of one nation against another, etc. 就是在国攻打国等等事情之前。Perhaps we can explain the latter indication in such a way. 可能我们用这样的方法来解释路加的说法。That the persecution of the believers will already have begun before the events mentioned have reached their climax in the last great tribulation. 这样来解释在大灾难，也就是说这些事情的高峰来到之前呢，门徒们就已经受到逼迫的，可以这样来解释。At any rate, 无论如何，the two series of events represent the period of the beginning of sorrows preceding the final drama. 这两个系列的事件呢，就是在最后的世界末日之前，就是大灾难的起头的那个时期。And of which Jesus says that they, for the time being, are not the end itself. 耶稣指着这些事说，这些不是末日本身。So this is a clear indication that one should not be too hasty in drawing conclusions, quite apart from the mention of the preaching of the gospel among all nations. 因此这里是很清楚的指出，我们不应该很冲感的来做一些的结论，还没有提到耶稣讲到福音要传给万国万民的。But on the basis of these passages, 可是就按照就根据这些的经文呢， there is little to be said about the duration of this future perspective. 我们看不到圣经给我们什么线索关于这个将来的未来的事情究竟有多长多久。Greg Danaus had remarked that 有一位荷兰的学者这样说 In the disciples, Jesus here addresses all believers in the course of the centuries to the end of the age. 耶稣向门徒们讲话，就等于向未来多个世纪的信徒们讲话，一直到世界的末了。And that there is therefore no need for us to look for false messiahs before 70 AD. 因此我们不必在主后70年之前呢，去找什么的冒充的弥赛亚等等。The same applies, in his opinion, to the terrifying phenomena mentioned in Luke 21:11. 同样的，他说呢，那些在路加福音21章11节所提到的那些的恐怖的现象，也是如此的。Jesus surveys the centuries. 耶稣呢是向未来展望很多个世纪 ，and here also includes that which will be at the end of the world. 这里呢也包含了世界末了要发生的事。In our opinion, 我们的意见是，我们的作者说 ，The above named texts do not warrant our speaking of the disclosure of a future perspective which embraces centuries. 上面提到的这些的经文呢，并不支持我们认为呢，耶稣这个对未来的视野是指很多个世纪的。Neither do they mean a beginning of sorrows repeatedly reviewed over a long series of centuries in always new, powerful empires, signs, and false Christ. 这里耶稣也不是指呢，这个大灾难开始呢，是透过很长的很多世纪的一系列的事，就是总会有新的 强的帝国的兴起，还有一些的神迹，还有冒充的弥赛亚。Doubtless, the disciples are warned not to expect the end immediately because there are still so many events that must first happen. 毫无疑问的，耶稣警告门徒们呢，不要期待末日的马上就会来，因为还有很多的事情是必须先发生的。But it is impossible to infer from them even approximately the length of the perspective. 可是呢，我们不可能从这些来推论出，就算是月末的，究竟时间有多长 ？Whether it will extend over years or over centuries， 究竟是讲好几年呢，还是好几个世纪 ？This also holds for the pronouncement in Mark 13:10。对于马可福音13章第10节所宣告的也是如此。The preaching of the gospel to all nations， 就是福音必传到万国。There is no doubt that this pronouncement is intended to emphasize to the disciples the fact that the end cannot come until the gospel has been preached to all nations. 毫无疑问的，耶稣这方面的宣告的用意就是要向门徒们强调一件事，就是末日不可能来，直到福音传到万国。And it will not do to restrict the purport of these words in such a general way. 我们也不可以这样子来很一般性的泛来限制这些话的重点 that they will indicate the Gentiles as the recipients of the gospel. 这些经文呢，只不过是指是外邦人来接受福音 so that the question about time might thus be eliminated. 这样子我们就排除关于究竟多长多久的这个问题。Much rather 不是如此的。反过来说 the category of time is purposely expressed by the words first in Mark and then shall the end come Matthew。 福音书是故意用譬如说先要发生马可，或者然后末期才到马太福音，故意这样子来表达实践的。 This is why we must reject the suggestion， 因此我们必须拒绝一种的建议，就是说 the word first means in the first place in particular， 首先呢就是指在首要的地位或者特别是，meaning in this context the disciples should remember above all else that they must preach the gospel to the Gentiles when they are tried before the councils。 意思就是说呢，门徒们必须记住，最重要的要记住，他们在被公会审的时候必须要向外邦人传福音，不是这个意思。 This exegesis seems too much inspired by the wish to eliminate the category of time clearly present in this context。 这种的解经呢，好像太过受到一个影响，这个影响就是愿意呢在这些的经文里面呢完全排除实践的概念。 These words refer to the preaching of the gospel to all nations and is therefore entirely in agreement with Matthew 16:13 and parallels。 这些话是指福音要传到万国，因此呢完全与马太福音26章13节和平行经文呢是一致的， where Jesus speaks of the whole world， 耶稣在那里说到全世界 and with the great commission of Matthew 28:18 and 20， 还有马太福音28章18到20节的大使命 which also speaks of all nations， 在那里耶稣也说到万国，所有的国家。 Refer also to Luke 24:47， 参考路加福音24章47节 and Mark 16:15 and 20， 还有马可福音16章15到20节。